In the ancient world, survival wasn't a guarantee. It was a daily battle against things that went bump in the night. People didn't just tell stories about monsters to entertain their children. They told them to explain why people disappeared in the woods, or why an entire village would suddenly drop dead without a mark on them. In this video, we are going to see 4 most terrifying mythical creatures. Number 1, the Basilisk, the king of serpents. The legend of the Basilisk is actually quite strange when you look at its origin. It was said to be hatched from a spherical egg laid by a 7-year-old rooster during the days of Sirius, the dog star. But here's the kicker. The egg had to be hatched by a toad. If that sounds like a bizarre biological experiment, that's because it was meant to represent something completely unnatural. In ancient lore, this wasn't just a big snake. It was the absolute king of serpents, and it didn't even need to bite you to end your life. Don't let its small size fool you. Ancient writers like Pliny the Elder claimed that if a basilisk looked you in the eye, you dropped dead on the spot. It didn't matter if you were a brave knight or a common farmer. One look, and it was over. But what happens if you don't look it in the eye? Well, you aren't safe then either. Its breath was so toxic, it could wither plants, crack stones, and kill birds flying overhead. There are stories of men on horseback trying to spear a basilisk, only to have the poison travel up the spear, killing both the rider and the horse. Number 2, the Kitsune, the 9-tailed trickster. Now, let's head east to the islands of Japan. We're moving away from mindless monsters and towards something much more intelligent and much more deceptive. This is the Kitsune. At first glance, it's just a fox, but in Japanese folklore, the fox is a powerful spirit capable of living for thousands of years. As a kitsune grows older and more powerful, it grows more tails. When it finally reaches its 9th tail, its fur turns white or gold, and it gains the power of infinite vision. But it's not the tails that make them dangerous, it's the mind. The kitsune is a master of possession and transformation. They love to take the form of beautiful women, elderly priests, or trusted friends to trick unsuspecting humans. Why do they do it? Sometimes it's for a good laugh, but other times it's far more malicious. There's a phenomenon called kitsunetsuki, or fox possession. It was believed that a kitsune could enter a person's body through their fingernails or their chest. Once inside, the victim would act insane, eat massive amounts of food, and speak languages they didn't know. To the people of ancient Japan, a sudden change in a loved one's personality wasn't a medical issue. It was a fox playing a deadly game. But there's a deeper part to this. Have you ever seen strange lights flickering in a dark marsh? Those were called kitsunebi, or foxfire. Legend says the foxes produce these glowing orbs by breathing them out or tapping their tails together. They use these lights to lead travelers off the path and into dangerous traps. What makes the kitsune so terrifying is that you never know if you're actually talking to one. That person you've known for years, that traveler you just met on the road, they could be a fox in disguise, waiting for the perfect moment to ruin your life. Number 3, the Minotaur, the prisoner of the labyrinth. While the kitsune roams free, our next creature was trapped. Deep beneath the palace of Knossos on the island of Crete, something lived in the dark. It was the Minotaur, a creature with the body of a man and the head of a bull. The story of the Minotaur is less about a monster and more about a tragedy. It wasn't born out of nature, it was born out of a curse and a broken promise. King Minos of Crete was supposed to sacrifice a beautiful white bull to the god Poseidon, but he decided to keep it for himself. To punish him, the gods made his wife fall in love with the bull. The result was the Minotaur. Minos was terrified and ashamed of the creature, but he couldn't bring himself to kill it. Instead, he commissioned the genius inventor Daedalus to build a prison so complex that no one who entered could ever find their way out. This was the labyrinth. Inside this maze, the Minotaur roamed, fueled by a hunger for human flesh. Every 9 years, the city of Athens was forced to send 7 young men and 7 young women into the labyrinth as a sacrifice to the beast. Can you imagine the horror of being pushed into those tunnels? Knowing that somewhere in the darkness, a half-man, half-bull was waiting for you? You'd be lost in a maze with no exits, listening for the sound of heavy hooves on stone. The cycle of sacrifice finally broke when the hero Theseus volunteered to go into the maze, but he didn't do it alone. Princess Ariadne gave him a simple tool, a ball of thread. Theseus tied the thread to the entrance and unrolled it as he went deeper into the labyrinth. When he finally found the Minotaur, he fought it and won. Following the thread back, he emerged a hero. Number 4, the Manticore, the face of a man. Finally, we travel toward the ancient forests of Persia and India. If the previous creatures were scary, the Manticore is the stuff of actual nightmares. The name Manticore literally translates to man-eater. Imagine a creature the size of a lion with a bright red coat. But when it turns around, you see it has a human face. Not a beautiful one, but one with 3 rows of shark-like teeth in both the upper and lower jaws. And then there's the tail. The Manticore has the tail of a scorpion, tipped with poisonous spikes. It could supposedly fire these spikes like arrows at its prey from a distance. What makes the Manticore truly eerie is the way it sounds. Ancient accounts say it didn't roar like a lion. Instead, its voice sounded like a mixture of a trumpet and a flute. Imagine walking through the woods and hearing a beautiful musical melody only to turn around and see a red beast with a human face ready to devour you. Unlike the Minotaur, who was a prisoner, the Manticore was a hunter. It was said to be so fast and so powerful that no man could escape it. It didn't just kill, it ate its victims whole, bones, clothes, and all, leaving absolutely nothing behind. This led to a terrifying superstition. If someone went missing in the woods and was never found, people would whisper that the Manticore had gotten them. Now here's a thought. Why did people believe in this? Some historians think the legend of the Manticore started with exaggerated descriptions of the tiger. To someone who had never seen one, a red lion with a human-like face and a dangerous tail was the best way to describe a predator they didn't understand. But the legend took on a life of its own. It became a symbol of the devouring nature of the wild. It's the predator that doesn't just take your life, but erases your existence. Which of these 4 would be the most terrifying to encounter in real life? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker side of mythology, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of the creatures that still haunt our imagination. Thanks for watching.